there, fantasy owners. Welcome to LTC Fantasy. We're rolling along with our team previews for your upcoming drafts. Hopefully find you some decent value in goalies, defensemen, and forwards. Today we're going to look at the Detroit Red Wings. Not sure if you're chiming in via YouTube or listening via podcast, but either way, really do appreciate the listen or the view there. And we'll look at, as I mentioned, defensemen, forwards, goalies. According to Daily Faceoff's depth chart, I find them to be the most accurate by any means, especially during the regular season. And we'll get right into her. Their goaltending tandem in Detroit this year, it's going to be Ville Husso, the new acquisition, and Alex Nedeljkovic. Ville Husso had a really great season in St. Louis last year. He's only 27 years old. He had 40 games played, kind of came out of nowhere with Binnington struggling. He was 25-7-6, 2 shutouts, 2.56 goals against average, and a .919 save percentage. Of course, he did struggle in the playoffs, but as fantasy owners, the playoffs don't matter much. That's where we cheer for our favorite team, not necessarily our fantasy team, as the fantasy season is done. And speaking of regular season, Husso did it all. His backup, or actually I kind of see it being a tandem, Alex Nedeljkovic. He's 26 years old. He had 59 games played last year, so he played in a lot of games. He was 20, 24, and 9 for Detroit. He had 4 shutouts, which is a nice touch, 3.31 goals against average, and a .901 save percentage. Before that, he was pretty good in Carolina, struggled a bit his first season in Detroit, weaker team in front of him, but with some additions that Detroit, Eisman had a really great offseason actually with what they added on the back end and up front. I do see them being stronger. Do I see them competing for a playoff spot? Maybe competing. They were so far out of it that, yes, they've definitely improved. I don't know if it's enough to get them over the hump though, but nice tandem in Husso and Nedeljkovic. I would draft Husso first. He's the one that got paid a little bit more. But you can't go wrong with either one in spot starting them. They're just not going to be a regular starter where they're going to play a whole bunch. I really do see a fairly even split for them, at least to start the season. If one of them grabs a crease, hopefully that's the one you got there, and you should do well. Moving along to defensemen, their top pairing is Ben Sherratt and Moritz Seider. Sherratt came over from Florida. He was only there a short time, Montreal obviously. He should be on the first PK unit. He's 31 years old. He got into 74 games last year, 9 goals, 17 assists for 26 points. It's not the greatest offensive production, 3 power play points, but where he does shine is in the secondary stats where you might find some value for you depending how your league is weighted. He had 157 hits, 130 blocks, and 143 shots on goal. That's kind of his bread and butter where you're going to find some value for him. Now his defensive partner, young kid Moritz Seider, had a hell of a rookie season. He should be on the first power play, first PK unit, and he's only 21 years old. You know, if you're 21 and you're going to be on the first PK, first power play, there's a lot of upside there. And he had a really good season. Played in all 82 games, had 7 goals, 43 assists for 50 points. And he's even going to get more ice time. I can see him exceeding those numbers because the team around him is better. 21 power play points, had 151 hits as a 20-year-old, 161 blocks, and 187 shots on goal. Really, he probably wasn't drafted in a lot of drafts to start the season. He definitely got picked up early, and you really benefited from it if you did get him. Expect him to be off the board quite a bit earlier this year. Do I trust young people? Well, when you put up 50 points as a defenseman and look at the secondary stats, there's no reason to believe that he can't duplicate or even exceed those numbers. Second pairing is Olli Määttä and Filip Hronek. Now, Olli Määttä, he came over from LA, signed in the offseason. Second PK, 27 years old. Last year he played 66 games, had 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points, so not very good there. Really no fantasy value, only 67 hits, 94 blocks, which is okay. But if you're looking for blocks, you're probably you will find a lot better options for you that give you the more rounded stats. Only 61 shots on goal. Probably a nice stay-at-home defenseman for your hockey team, fantasy hockey team. No dice. Leave him alone there. Philip Hronek, on the other hand, he should be on the second PP unit. 24 years old, young defenseman again. 78 games played, had 5 goals, 33 assists for 38 points. So right around that half point per game, which is nice. 7 power play points, had 70 hits, 81 blocks, 133 shots on goal. So realistically, if you have him on your fantasy team, he's not going to wow you in any category, but he's not really going to hurt you in any either. So it's a nice balancing piece to have on your roster to maybe pick up in the later rounds, depending how your league is scored, of course. But if it's a well-rounded league, it's somebody to keep there to keep balance on all your scoring categories. Third pairing is Simon Edvinsson and Gustav Lindstrom. Simon Edvinsson, he's only 19 years old, so really young guy. He put up 19 points in 44 games played in the SHL, the men's league in Sweden last year. So almost half point per game, where a lot of young players get really limited ice time, so that is a bonus. But he's going to be getting third pairing minutes. So for me, just seeing those stats, to be honest, I wasn't really on my radar. But I might put him on my watch list just to see if he does move up the depth chart. Obviously, it's going to be limited ice time there, but it's somebody to maybe watch because he had pretty good production over in Sweden for being a young defenseman with limited ice time. Here it's going to be limited ice time again, being in a third pairing role, but see how he progresses. He could possibly get sent down to the AHL for seasoning. That's why I wouldn't draft him, but somebody to watch nonetheless. Gustav Lidstrom, his D partner, should be on the second PK unit. He's 23 years old. He got into 63 games last year, had 1 goal, 12 assists for 13 points, 59 hits, 77 blocks, and 41 shots on goal. Nothing really screaming at you. To be honest, leave him alone. There would be a lot better options for you there. Moving along to forwards. Top line, they were all with Detroit last year, and Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, and Tyler Bertuzzi. Now, Lucas Raymond, he was a young kid last year, had a pretty solid rookie season. Started out really, really hot, then really cooled off. Probably he's never played that many games in a season, that's probably why. But first power play unit, 20 years old, was 19 years old last year. In 82 games played, he had 23 goals, 34 assists for 57 points. So pretty solid rookie season there. Should increase those numbers, of course. 18 power play points, 62 hits, 24 blocks, and 184 shots on goal. Centerman Dylan Larkin, he should also be on the top power play. He's 26 years old, had 71 games played, 31 goals, 38 assists for 69 points. So eclipsing that 30 goal mark is nice. 13 power play points, 76 hits, 28 blocks, 212 shots on goal. He'd probably be the safest choice out of the Detroit forwards there. And Tyler Bertuzzi, he should be on the top power play, second PK unit. He's 27 years old, 68 games played. He was a 30 goal man also, 30 goals, 32 assists for 62 points, 14 power play points, 65 hits, 41 blocks, 180 shots on goal. Realistically, as long as you don't draft them too high, any of these forwards will contribute to your fantasy roster. Larkin's obviously the safest pick. Raymond's probably your highest ceiling long term if it's a keeper league. Bertuzzi's also a very solid pick. Their second line, this is where it gets interesting because Vrana, he did play, but not a whole bunch last year. And the other two are new additions to see how they gel in Detroit there. So it's Jacob Vrana, Andrew Kopp, and David Perron. Now, Vrana, he should be on the top power play unit. He's 26 years old. Had a really injury-plagued season last year. 26 games played. He had 13 goals, though, in those 26 games. Weighted, that's a 40-goal season for him. 6 assists, 19 points. So if he is healthy, will definitely be fantasy relevant, but obviously check to see how he did. He always seems to miss quite a few games. Other than the COVID-shortened season, he always seems to miss quite a bit of the season there. 6 power play points, 14 hits, 9 blocks, 65 shots on goal. So he's healthy. Yay. If he's not, could hurt you. So I definitely wouldn't waste even a mid-round pick on him. I'm waiting towards the end of the draft. Maybe take a flyer, depending how deep your league is. You might get some value there. Andrew Kopp, he's on the second power play unit. He's 28 years old. He's had 72 games played. He had 21 goals, 32 assists for 53 points, 10 power play points, 45 hits, 41 blocks, 183 shots on goal. What I find with Kopp anyways, he doesn't wow you in any category, kind of like Hronek, but he won't necessarily hurt you in category. He does everything well, but nothing great. So he'd be a well-balanced player for depth on your roster where you can plug him in there depending on the schedule, etc. David Perron, he should be on the second power play unit. He's 34 years old now. Last year he had 67 games played. He had 27 goals, 30 assists for 57 points. So definitely a very nice season in St. Louis there. 26 power play points, 80 hits, 11 blocks, so not going to block a lot of pucks for you. 177 shots on goal. He should produce. He's going to get power play time, second line role. He was top line in St. Louis, but St. Louis's second line actually outplayed their first line, so consider it a second line in St. Louis realistically. Should see similar production. He has decent line mates. No reason why he can't continue to produce for you. Third line is Dominic Kubalik, Pius Suter, and Philip Zadina. Now, Kubalik, he had a really good rookie season in Chicago, and it's been the downward trend since, but should be on the second power play, 26 years old. Last year, 78 games played, 15 goals, 17 assists for 32 points. So not going to wow you, but he did have that good rookie season, so I'm probably not going to draft him, but I will watch him to see if he bounces back in a new system. 9 power play points, 93 hits, 28 blocks, 161 shots on goal. Centerman, Pius Suter, realistically, I'm probably going to leave him alone, but it might be somebody to stream on an off night if there isn't somebody in their top 6 available in your league. He's on the top PK unit, 26 years old, got into all 82 games. He had 15 goals, 21 assists for 36 points, so almost half point per game, so he borderline streaming on a very light night. 3 power play points, 24 hits, 37 blocks, 166 shots on goal. Philip Zadina, he should be on the second power play unit. Only 22 years old, so young kid. 74 games played. He had 10 goals, 14 assists for 24 points. So not wowing you there yet. 8 power play points, 57 hits, 34 blocks. But did shoot the puck a fair bit. 154 shots on goal with limited ice time there. Fourth line, like anywhere, probably not a lot of value, but we'll go through it. It's Adam Ernie, Michael Rasmussen, and Oscar Sundqvist. Now, Adam Ernie, he's 27 years old, 79 games played, 6 goals, 13 assists for 19 points. Nothing great there. 161 hits, so his hit total was up there, but you could more than likely, if hits are counted in your league, you can find somebody that'll get you close to that amount and be more offensive for you. 43 blocks, 108 shots on goal. Michael Rasmussen, he should be on the second PK. He's 23 years old, 80 games played. He had 15 goals, 12 assists for 27 points, 2 power play points, had 142 hits, which is nice hit total, 65 blocks and 128 shots on goal. So those back-end stats are fairly decent for you, but he's down to the fourth line now where he played third line last year, so his ice time might get cut, but he is playing on the PK. Really, for me, I usually go in standard leagues, so there's not a lot of value for you. Some of you in the banger leagues, there might be a little bit of value where you might stream him on light nights. Oscar Sundqvist, he should be on the top PK. He's 28 years old. 59 games played at 8 goals, 15 assists for 23 points, 70 hits, 29 blocks, 70 shots on goal. Realistically, leave him alone. There'll be better options for you unless he really turns it on. But we'll catch that in waiver wire episodes, etc. during the regular season. Do hope you did enjoy today's episode. If you're watching via YouTube, remember to hit like, hit subscribe. Remember that notification bell so you don't miss out on other previews or our top picks for goalies, defensemen, and forwards going into the draft, sleepers, etc., as well as our regular season episodes. We have 3 every week. If you're listening via podcast, remember to hit follow, hit that heart, depending what platform you're on, for the same reasons that you don't miss out on any of the future episodes. And I really do hope this does help you in your upcoming drafts. And good luck there, fantasy owners.